Okay, let's render the thing. Geo, we don't need that. Don't need that. We need stick droplets and lipstick. Lipstick itself. Droplets, object merge the droplets. Set the material to water. Okay. Now we should create Octane render node. Camera, call it shot 10. Output. We don't need an output. Motion blur. Okay. Everything stays the same. We only need to override camera resolution to half. This is going to be Ctrl 1. Go to material, create Octane render target. Color it black, call it render target 010. Path tracing, quality, specular depth 24, max samples 2500, sampling adaptive, light no, deep image no, environment, texture, but for now we won't set the HDR, so it's gonna be black. Camera, autofocus stays on for now. Imager, acetone mapping, denoiser no, upsampler no, post-processing no, AOV. You're probably gonna need a cryptomate by material node name. That's gonna be it. For the render settings, that's gonna be it. Now we can start the render. Shortcut, Ctrl 2. Go to shortcut number 1 and open up an IPR. IPR should be black because we don't have any environment or lights yet. Indeed it is. So let's start with the simplest material. It's the background. It shouldn't have any specular weight and it should be emissive with the emission weight of 3. And nothing is happening, probably because we didn't set the background material to background. There it is. Okay. Now we need to move the background further a little bit. -5, -12, and set the scale, the size to 25, 25 by 25. That's it. Now the next material is water. It's the other simple one. Specular. And the default should be enough. The default value should be enough. We'd probably start with the metal. Set the metalness to 1 and set the specular roughness to 0. And it should reflect a little bit less than 1, 0.4. Okay, that's it for now. Now we need to create a light. It's going to be called Octane Light. With the scale of 25 and 5. Should rotate it. Move it around. Apply a texture. Texture is called gradient, 1 pixel black. Keep instance power, turn this off, and the power should be 16. Looks a bit odd. I should probably rotate it a bit. Something feels off. We should also turn the general visibility to 0 and camera visibility to 0 as well. Now let's create another light. First we should call this one light 0.10, 0.1. This is the second light. Just illuminate the front part. As you can see, the depth of field just broke down because our autofocus is focusing on this invisible light. Let's fix that. Should turn off the autofocus feature, and we can just pick focus and click somewhere here. That's it. Or if you don't want any depth of field, you can switch the aperture edge to 0. Also works. So now we have this. We should select the light, power 2. And create the third light. Rotate it. And this is going to be our little highlight. Okay, that's it for the highlights. I think it's good enough. Now we can adjust the lipstick shader. Call it specular. Specular. Reflection 0.45. Transmission 345. Saturation 0.35. And SSS should be probably random walk. Density, reduce the density to 75. And color the albedo to hue 1, saturation 0.95, value 0.8. And this probably shouldn't be as specular. Should be GX, roughness 0.2. Probably should turn on fake shadows for it to render a bit faster and maybe a bit brighter. What do we have here? Looks okay. So we also should add the flake shader. Flakes. Plug it to normals. Flake size 0.65, flake variance 1, blend factor 0.9, and 3D transform should be somewhere around 0.02. Let's look at this. So yeah, that's gonna add some variation. That's really nice to look at. Also, I think we should move the camera a bit higher. Maybe a bit closer. Now our autofocus broke. Should pick again. Now we can add some variation to the metal shader. So the metal shader should have some bump map. Cinema 4D noise. Plug it into the bump. Switch the type to blister turbulence, 3D transform, because we're in Octane. We can just transform the noise inside the node and scale it down. Yeah, nice. No, the wrong axis. So 0.01, and here it's 1, 1. Now we have some sort of machining happening here. Looks okay. Maybe reduce the intensity a bit. And we can also add a secondary layer, speculum layer. GGX, roughness 0.2, and reflection should be lower, a bit lower, 0.75. Also, we can plug our noise to speculum layer as well into the bump node. Okay, again, needs a bit more space there. 0.65. And we can probably add an HDR texture. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a bit tricky. Because HDRIs from Polyheaven have insanely high dynamic range, hence the name. And Octane just goes crazy sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it just clips the higher values, like the sun. But sometimes I had an issue where the specular highlights from the sun just turned purple. So we're just gonna clip the HDRI to some lower values. We're not gonna use it to light our scene, we're just gonna use it to add some pretty gradients. So we're gonna move to COPS. I'm gonna do that. COP network. File. Choose our pure sky texture and clamp it. Upper limit 35. Drop output. Hip textures $OS. We call it pure sky texture tutorial clamped render. Now we have a clamped texture. We're gonna choose it. Clamped HDRI. And we have to tweak the colors. So I've rotated and transformed it. Also, I've changed the gamma values because I wanted this texture to have some contrast. I didn't want it to light everything evenly. In any case, values. Rotate 2D, 0.24. Tilt, 0.056. Roll, we don't touch this. Tilt, minus 24.2. Pan, minus 9.2. Same goes to roll. That's it. So now we have some small blue tint coming from the right side, and it adds a bit of a liveliness to our render. And let's not forget to increase the intensity to 3. Looks a bit extreme. Perhaps we should probably reduce the color saturation values. Now it's closer to the reference. Looks good enough, I would say. We can see the caustics. Those are nice. Okay, that's it. See you.